it only takes 22 pounds of pressure to explode a testicle. The snakehead fish can walk on land. Due to its immense hunger, it eats its entire food source, then continues on. It has a natural ability to take over any ecosystem they enter, including those on land. On February 1st, 2013, Elsa Lam vanished while staying at the Cecil Hotel. Soon thereafter, her body was found face up in the hotel's rooftop water tank. Years later, Lam's death continues to mystify. There's an old hunter's legend that tells of a ghost deer that looks just like any other deer, but bullets will fly right through it. Attempts to track its prints shows that it seems to just simply end at one point or another, as if the deer just disappeared. Most pets will try to eat you after you die, starting with your face. A group of college kids went camping on a Russian mountain, only to be found slaughtered and scattered across the landscape. One girl was missing her tongue, others were found in nothing but underwear. Who or what could have done this still remains unknown. A bunyip is a cryptid that is described as an evil water spirit, being described vaguely as a giant starfish or eel. But researchers reported that tribes appear to have been in such dread at its presence that they were unable to take note of its characteristics. Aerosol cans can explode without being heated. Virginia's Colonial Parkway killers from 1986 to 1989 killed 4 couples in their car while parked in the Williamsburg-Newport News area. This mystery was never solved. A rat king is a phenomenon created when a large group of rats become fused together by their tails via ice, dirt, hair, blood, or even feces. Encounters with this horrible phenomenon inspired some of humanity's greatest myths. Over 200 Christmas trees catch fire per year in the US alone. Mythbusters claim to have cracked this one, but according to doctor journals, aircraft toilets can actually suck out your rectum. One winter day in Bennington, Vermont, 18-year-old Paula Jean Weldon walked into the woods, then vanished without a trace. Despite a massive search, her trail went cold. To this day, the young woman's fate remains a mystery. Using body sprays frequently will build up butane gas in your body and can actually lead to having a heart attack. There's a small town in Kentucky called Cardstown, where in 2015 an officer named Jason Ellis was driving home after his shift when he noticed a bunch of sticks and logs blocking the ramp. When he exited his vehicle to investigate, he was gunned down in cold blood. Who or why this happened is still unknown. Tumors can grow in many places of the human body. Teeth have been known to grow on tumors. Therefore, teeth can grow in many places of the human body. The Chickcharney is a mythical creature that strongly resembles an owl. It is said to live in the forests of Andros Island. Most disturbingly, this bird could actually exist, because recently a flightless species of barn owl, native to Andros, was uncovered, and it's thought to have gone extinct in the late 16th century, but sightings continue to this day. Inmates on Japan's death row aren't given a definitive execution date. They wake up each day unsure if it will be their last. This is the pacu fish, mostly found in Brazil. They are strongly related to piranhas, and yes, they do have human teeth. In the 12th century, 2 green children suddenly appeared in the town of Woolpit in England. The brother and sister looked normal, that is, except for the bright green hue of their skin. Apparently, they spoke an unknown language, wore strange clothing, and the only thing that they would eat was raw beans. The boy eventually died, but the little girl grew up, learned English, ate other foods, and lost her green coloring. She told others that her and her brother came from a place called St. Martin's Land, an underground world where everyone was green. The lizard man of Scape Ower Swamp is allegedly a reptilian humanoid that lurks in the swampland in and around Lee County in South Carolina. Reports of sightings, attacks, car maulings, and other strange events are still reported to this day. Have you ever had a nightmare where you can't move or speak, but you're still completely conscious? Turns out it can happen in real life, and it's called locked-in syndrome. In the last 70 years, nearly 100 commercial airlines have gone missing without a trace. The ivory-billed woodpecker was hunted to extinction for its ivory in the early 1900s, but in 2005 and 2006, scarce sightings have been reported, and rewards up to $50,000 put forward. However, despite efforts, no one can confirm their existence. This is a magnified picture of an eyelash mite. There are probably hundreds of them living on your face right now. 1,700 sports fans are injured by baseballs every season. Oscar the therapy cat was raised in the dementia unit of the Steer House Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Providence, Rhode Island. It's said that he can sense the impending death of a patient and will curl up and sleep next to a patient if they're near the end. This is the horned toad, and it can squirt blood out of its eyes. On more than one occasion, sexually frustrated male dolphins seeking to get it on have attacked divers. When the dolphin fails to gain admittance with its human partner, the animal will try to push the diver to the ocean floor to have its way. Fortunately, this has not led to anyone drowning, yet. Apparently, frustrated male sea turtles have been known to do the same thing. In 1518, there was a dancing plague where about 400 people began to involuntarily dance for days on end. Many died. Did you know that fir trees can grow in your lungs? Russian doctors removed what they believed to be a tumor from a man's lung, only to discover that it was actually a 2-inch living fir tree. Scaphism is an ancient form of torture that involved having every orifice covered in honey and then exposed to large swarms of insects like ants and bees. Kendrick Johnson was found rolled up in wrestling mats in his high school, and his death was ruled an accident. The official story is that he was reaching into the rolled up wrestling mats to get his shoe. He then got stuck, then died. An independent autopsy has shown that he died from blunt force trauma, and there is blood in many of the crime scene photos. As if the world wasn't confusing and horrifying enough, there are things like the phantom time hypothesis. The theory, developed by German historians, states that our AD dating system is basically made up, and that 300 of human history, about 614 to 911 AD, never happened. The Flatwood Monster is a legend in West Virginia that tells of a 7-foot-tall humanoid being with a black body and a glowing face, described as inhumanly shaped and clad in a dark pleated skirt like exoskeleton. Some have related this to the Mothman. Others have dismissed it as an overly large owl. Swans are known to be highly territorial when nesting. In 2012, a 37-year-old man was killed when a swan attacked and sank his kayak, and then proceeded to block his path to safety. The man drowned. The Whitehall mystery is a murder that took place in London in 1888. The unsolved crime involved dismemberment of a young woman, whose body parts were subsequently distributed among several different locations around the city. The police never made an arrest, and the case remains a source of great speculation to this day. Jello seems like it would be the hardest thing to choke on, but it is actually the only food that can't be dislodged by using the Heimlich maneuver. Flip-flops injure 200,000 people a year. The Mongolian deathworm is a creature that is said to roam the Gobi Desert. Strange tunnels and sounds have been reported by Western researchers, but this giant worm still remains a mystery. Watching TV for more than 2 hours a day can shorten your life expectancy by 1.4 years. If you watch TV for 6 hours daily, you might die 5 years earlier than you would naturally. In July 2016, a woman was impaled in the throat by an umbrella as she was riding a motorcycle, killing her on the spot. Bible John was a serial killer in Glasgow in the late 1960s. His name comes from witnesses saying that he quoted the Bible frequently. To this day, no one knows who he was. Around Glasgow, there are many old men who are locally thought to be him. Golf clubs can be deadly. An angry golfer flung his club at a bench. The shaft broke and sprung back, piercing his heart. The same thing has been recorded to happen to at least 3 more people. Did you know crows aren't just extremely intelligent, but that they even have their own language? They are able to communicate in more advanced ways than science currently understands. Arnold Rothstein was a well-known mobster, but after being shot by an unknown assailant while laying on his deathbed, Rothstein still wouldn't identify his killer. The Beast of Bray Road is described as a bear-like creature, a hairy biped resembling Bigfoot, or as an unusually tall, standing-up, intelligent, wolf-like creature that's apt to walk on its hind legs. A major rash of sightings were reported on Bray Road in Elkhorn, Wisconsin in the 1980s and 90s, giving the creature this name. If you sneeze hard enough, you can actually fracture a rib, but if you try to suppress your sneeze, you might rupture a blood vessel in your head or your neck. So that was 50 more creepy facts. If you watched all the way to the end, I truly thank you. If you're subscribed and you're still watching, you're even more amazing. I'm happy to be back.